Oh my God. Okay, so I want to like segue into this, but I just want to talk about the fact that I'm wearing my over-ear headphones, and it's because I have an ear infection, and it's because I had to sleep with my earplugs in because my neighbors started throwing a rave on Sunday night. Do you know when they started it? Do you know what time they started this party?
Ew, like a ungodly hour, like 2
Sure
a.m.?
was. It was 2:45 a.m. Woke me up from
No,
a
it
dead sleep.
wasn't.
Sure was. Went on for 3 hours. I called 311 to file a noise complaint, and they said, yeah, so unless there's like an emergency, the police will be there like within the next 8 hours. And do you know what happened?
8 hours?
Yeah, they said the police might be there in the next 8 hours. And I'm over here going, I don't think that's how that works.
8 hours.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. My name is Ellen.
And my name's Alyssa, and welcome to the Modern Singer Podcast. Doodly doodly doo. I like never know what to do after that either. I'm so tired.
Doodly do.
I am so tired.
Oh my gosh, though, but wait. Stepping back a little bit. They started at 2:45, and then you called 311, and then they were like, oh, maybe they'll be here in within 8 hours. Did they ever come, or
Nope.
did they just stop
No, they didn't.
raving?
They turned it off around 6.
Oh my God.
It was-
and that's probably like when you were like getting out, like, so you had to put earphones, no.
I had to put my loop earplugs in, not sponsored.
I have Loop.
I love them, but
I
turns
love
out
them
if I
also.
sleep in them too often, your girl gets an ear infection.
Oh, that's good to know. And so now,
Well, I also have like really bad allergies, so like all of my sinus tract tract
sinus.
unknown. But DM me if you know the correct answer. But like everything is drippy,
Yes, same.
and it's gross because there's so much pollen everywhere, and I'm like trying to go
Everywhere.
outside more.
It's terrible.
So, like,
I'd never go
I know.
outside, which is terrible for my mental health because there's so much freaking pollen everywhere.
But my boyfriend and I went and we walked the Met Cloisters this weekend, which was
nice.
amazing. And I had never been inside. I had only been in the gardens outside. And if you have
Yeah.
a New York State license or a New York State ID, you can actually go into these museums for free.
What?
And he has one. I need to get mine still. I still have an
was
Arizona
like-
license from a house that burned down. So
R.I.P. house. Man,
I
that's another
never lived
subject.
there. I never lived there.
Yeah.
Oh well.
That's sad. You're like moving on. But that's cool.
So he
I did
had
not,
one. So
I did
it's
not know
a
that.
museum. It's a museum, and one of my favorite tapestries. It's one of the unicorn tapestries. What is there? It's the unicorn in like the little circle fence.
Oh yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah. And
talking
apparently,
about.
it's like this big statement on. Well, I mean, now it's this big statement on. Because what kind of person do you think of when you think of unicorns?
Like a magical,
No,
like
kind of
witchy.
Like an actual human. Who do you think of when you think of unicorns? I'm on my feminist soapbox for like 2 seconds.
Oh my God, I don't know what you mean.
Little girls. Because of the innocence.
I thought
And
you were
they're
like, I thought you were
caged.
like,
And I have
to be
so many
like-
feelings about it. No, I just
I
wanted
thought you were
to be on my
asking like
feminist
what
soapbox.
human?
No,
You're
like-
what, I'm like I
was-
don't know, like a person. I don't know what person. I got you. Yeah, little
Because
girls.
you're a better
No, fat.
human than other people.
Thanks. It's like, no, but that makes sense. Yeah, little girls. Okay, I'm with you now. I'm with you. I'm on the same
and
page.
I was watching. So I followed this girl on TikTok, and she does a lot of. She got her. Oh gosh, I think she got her master's in Fae studies or something like that, or mystical studies, I think is who she is. She's so cool and she's hilarious.
Well,
and
that's
gorgeous
cool.
also. And she was like talking about all of this stuff and how like unicorns were real. And of course we don't have remains of them because their horns would have been cut off, similar to the tusks of rhinos and narwhals and elephants and things like that, because they were so sought after. And I thought that that was really cool. I don't know how much of it I'm like a part of in the thought process, but I do think that like the idolization, not the idolization, the, I don't know. I just think it's gross that women and little girls are imprisoned as much as unicorns. And I don't know how I got on this tangent. Oh, the Met cloisters. It was gorgeous.
The Met
I had a great time.
I'm here for it, for all of that. I'm right there for it.
I don't even know, like, I don't know where I
that's
was even
fun.
trying to go with that. I just wanted to be on my feminist soapbox for a hot second, and here we are.
I love it. Get on that box. I'm here for it. Oh, that's fun. That's what you did this week?
Yeah, we went this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. What have you been up
Aw,
to?
that's
It's
fun.
hot as shit in Arizona right now.
It's
It
hot as
just
shit.
got into the 70s in New York.
Oh my God. Actually, I think today or tomorrow, it's only supposed to be like 82 or 85, which is glorious for this time
That
of
is
year for
glorious.
people listening.
Yeah.
Like it hit over 100 already, which marks when hell starts. But yeah, allergies have been bad and it's been hot. So we've been kind of cooped up in my house. I was part of a photo shoot yesterday that I got to like help direct and
Oh, I thought you were in it, and I
Capture-
got so excited.
no, I
I'm like
wasn't
still
in it. I
excited,
know.
but you have beautiful mermaid hair, and I love you so much, and I love to look at your face.
Thanks. I love your face and your hair. You have beautiful, majestic hair as well.
Thank you. I
But
made
yeah,
it.
no, I wasn't in it. I made it. It's mine. It's literally a part of me.
Like, I don't know what's happening today. Like,
Oh my
on my
gosh, I know, I feel
tangents.
you.
I'm a little
love
slap
it.
happy. I'm not going to lie.
No, I love it. I love it. But yeah, I was part of a photo shoot yesterday, which was fun, which kind of sets like the scene for the whole season. And it's fun to kind of, be part of that and
Ooh.
get to manipulate that. And
Is this
and
for the
help
season
direct it and stuff.
announcement?
Yeah, so we already announced.
Oh, yay, so you can share it. Because I was going to say
in
Alyssa cut
January.
this, and like, I
know.
wanted to know first, but it's okay.
We announced in January, lo siento, but yeah, it's for like the imagery for that. So we're doing, if anyone cares and is listening to this, I'm the Associate Director of Marketing, Communications, and PR at Arizona Opera. So Arizona Opera this upcoming season is doing Frankenstein, which is going to be super cool.
The
a brand new
opera?
production. Yeah, the opera.
It's a new opera? Ooh.
Yes, it's new Arizona Opera commissioned. God, I should know that. Cut that part. A new production. Frankenstein is a new production. It'll be the world premiere. And then we're going to do Don Giovanni, Barber of Seville, and Romeo and Juliet, Gounod.
Those are all so niche, and I bet like no one else is doing those this season either.
Yeah, especially those last three. Nobody
Oh,
ever
yeah.
does them.
Never ever.
So yeah,
I'm super
Hey,
excited
you
for
gotta
Frankenstein, though. Sounds amazing.
got to keep those patrons happy.
Oh, yeah. Every time.
I'm excited for Frankenstein also. I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be it's more about the creature and how he's othered. Like that's what
Ooh.
that's what the opera is associated around, like is
it cast
created
already?
around. It's cast already. easyopera.org. Yeah, go check it out. Yeah, I've never seen it. So I got to peep into the workshop a little bit. I think it's going to be really cool. They did it in New York. God, like forever ago. Like workshopped it in New York in the catacombs, which is
That's
super
creepy as
creepy and fun.
shit. Those catacombs are terrifying. I like can't
I'm
go
super
in them.
about it.
I've only seen pictures. They scare me.
I wish I was there.
Well, come to New York and visit me then.
Fuck yeah! Come to Arizona while we do Frankenstein in October, the weekend before Halloween.
Love you so much. I have a wedding.
Oh, that's okay.
Also,
Weddings
I
are
don't go to
more
Arizona.
weddings- Anytime I can try.
Ironically,
I'm here
it's my
for it.
roommate from grad school, and we're both from Arizona.
Where's her wedding at?
New York.
Well, that's fun. That's more fun. I think that's more fun. Well, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about ways to keep yourself motivated after school. So this is maybe you're on summer break between years. Maybe you just graduated and you don't know what your next steps are. I know for me, after grad school, I went into my post-grad because I wasn't really sure what I was doing. And they paid me, so of course I stayed. But it's the motivation to help keep you going. So there's a lot of reasons why your motivation might be lacking, and it's the continuous PFOs, lots of schooling with no tangible payoffs. It's all of this buildup that we've been doing all audition season, and now everyone else is at gigs, or it feels like everyone else is at gigs, and you're just kind of here without anything that's next. So there's nothing specifically to work towards, or maybe your next gig isn't for a couple of months, and you don't have music yet, and it's just staying motivated. I mean, I'm speaking from personal experience. It's so hard. I'm currently in between jobs while I finish up some of my training, and my motivation has just absolutely plummeted to keep myself going. And
yeah, I think
there was not an end to that statement.
Yeah, I think that school is very structured, right? And it's a structure that you don't come up with, that they come up with. You know, they have...
Yeah, like, I'm in charge and that bitch runs a loose ship.
Exactly. Like, school, it's like, these are the classes you have to take, right? So you have just the ones you have to take, and you have to choose from those. And so you pick one of those. And then these are the only times, sometimes, especially as music majors, there's only one of those classes, and it's always at 8 a.m. for some reason. But
Why is it always at 8 a.m.? 8 a.m. and then 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Exactly.
Like, no in between.
No sleep time. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like...
Nope, never.
Okay, then you click on, okay, I guess I'll take that one class, or you maybe have two options, and then the curriculum is decided for you. So you have your list, you show up at that time, and you just do what you're told. So it's when you're out of school, when you don't have that structure anymore, it's kind of like, okay, well, what do I do? So some top tips.
It's definitely that now what feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, well, now what do? I have to do it all myself, and I'm not learning a curriculum anymore. So what do I need to do, and how to structure it? So one really great thing to do is to define your goals and make a realistic schedule. So in school, your goal is, to practice, to get good grades, to show up to class, right? To learn this curriculum. That's no longer your main goal. What is your main goal? Is it to, like you said, is it to get a gig? Is it to learn a role? Is it to get a new voice teacher? Try to, write down some realistic, tangible goals, some big, some small, and then make a realistic schedule for yourself, kind of shaping around those goals. So that means like practice time. How much realistic practice time do you have? On what days is that good for you? What music are you learning? How much time do you have to dedicate to learning that music? Your voice lessons, your coaching lessons, any other type of lessons you're taking, and just kind of playing and letting things settle into your body. Another thing to think about are, what roles are you going for? Are you just trying to be in a chorus? Are you trying to get some main roles at like a summer program, or like in a local smaller company or something like that? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in a year? Where do you want to be in 5 years? What are your career goals? And then what are the little steps that you can break those large goals down into to achieve those goals? So while you're looking at these goals, at these things that you want to do for your music career and fitting it into your realistic life timeline. Yes, we all have other things that we have to do besides just music. What? I wish we didn't have to do the dishes or commute or sometimes have, our muggle jobs, but here we are. And then when you're making those realistic 1 to 5, 10-year plans, start building it out from there.
And to make this easier, we're also releasing our 1, 5, and 10-year plan worksheet as well. It's going to be up in our Etsy shop. If it isn't already, it'll be there in the next day or two. So definitely check that out. And then while you're making these goals and these plans, break it down. Remind yourself that great things don't come easy. Make this your mantra. It's what you say to yourself every day in the mirror as you open up your music. put in the work and it'll all pay off in the end. I think I'm going to add this to my personal reading list. It's been on my reading list for a while, but I think I'm going to actually like go pick up a copy of it and put it on my nightstand so I actually read it. But it's the book 10,000 Hours. Exactly. It's the book 10,000 Hours, and it's basically outlining the fact that you have to put in 10,000 hours worth of effort to really make a difference in something. Ellen, will you, because I know that you have your phone, will you actually just do math for me real quick?
Oh, yeah.
And will you put in, so let's say a 4-year undergrad program, a 2-year master's, and a 1-year postgrad. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
Great. 7 years. Let's say it's going to be 20. Let's say it'll be 20 hours of specified study. That's including practicing, studying words, and all of that nonsense. So let's say 20 hours a week times 48 to include 4 weeks off.
Okay.
Times 7. So 20 times 48 times 7. How many hours is that?
6,720.
That's just over half of this 10,000 hours. So I'm super excited to dig in a little bit more and come back with, maybe I'll do a cute little book report.
Yeah, you should.
But knowing that these 7 years of practicing isn't even that 10,000 hours.
Yeah. That makes sense, though, because you're not like when people are talking about like a master of some sort of trade or whatever, like 7 years is a long time, but I wouldn't think that person is like a master. I think that person is, very skilled or knows what they're talking about. That's cool. Yeah, let us know. I want a book report.
I need to actually read it first.
You can also get really caught up and overwhelmed. I know that happens to me quite often, especially in the type of career that we have. So make sure that you're always coming back to why you started in the first place. Why did you want to major in music? Why do you love music? Why do you love singing? Whatever it may be. And I would suggest writing these things down. Maybe keep them in your phone or little Post-it notes and putting them on your mirror or in your planner somewhere, or even in your music binder or, on your piano if you have one, somewhere where you're going to come back to it and can keep looking at that, keep being reminded, maybe this is a really stressful time. You're really working on like a hard piece or a hard section. Keep reminding of yourself why you started in the first place, kind of as a motivator. Also, there are always going to be times you're upset. You're going to get a lot of PFOs. You're going to get a lot of no's. You're going to get a lot of criticism. You're going to be poor. You're going to be working your ass off. And you sit there and you're like, why the hell am I doing this to myself? Those are when those sticky notes come into play. Keep looking at them and really just keep reminding yourself that this is why. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I've started. And it's a little bit of a positive reinforcer and maybe just kind of reset your anxieties or your unhappiness at that time.
And a reminder, small steps are always going to be better than no steps. If you're only measuring the big leaps, you aren't celebrating the wins. How about that new cadenza that you're working on, a new register that you're strengthening? All of these little things add up. So start to set attainable goals in smaller chunks. I like to think of this similar to, let's say it's a handle cadenza that you're writing. Neat, cool, hated doing that personally. I am not, it's one of my least favorite things to do. But so let's break it down. Let's break down writing and learning your own cadenza. And first step is going to be listening to a bunch of different singers to get an idea, because you don't have to recreate the wheel. You just have to make something that your voice wants to do. So listening to a bunch of singers, starting to get these ideas. Step 2 is starting to play around with some of them, see what fits, what doesn't. Step 3 is going to be maybe you start writing them down and moving them around so that you can see what fits together and what doesn't after you figure out what your voice likes to do. Step 4 is going to be finding a pattern that you like. And step 5 is going to be singing it into your voice. That can take a while. Like, especially for me, I do not have a music theory brain. It takes a lot. It takes a lot.
Me neither.
I've only done this once. It was for Torna Mi in Alcina, and it took me 4 months to do this. But I still know it mostly if I listen to the recording of me doing it. But like, I wrote it down, which is good for my brain, but it's these smaller chunks of things that are huge. Everything builds up. It's like savings. When you're talking about saving money, literally every single penny counts towards saving, especially if you're putting it in something that you should, which is a high yield savings account.
A little plug right there.
But look, I'm reading a lot of books on financial planning right now, and I'm trying to be an adult because I turned 30 this year. But
Welcome.
it's all of these little things that help build you up to your career goals.
Yeah, and school is broken up into smaller chunks also. It's not like you're learning all
Sometimes.
of music. Yeah, facts. Sometimes. But it's not like you're learning all of music theory at once, right? Like they split it up into sections or into time periods or, however they split it up. And then within that class, which is that one time period, they chunk it up even smaller, right, into curriculum. So just kind of think of it that way as well, that we use that system for a reason because it works. And so just kind of continue that into your own personal studies. Make sure that you're also making music with friends just for fun. Not just for the people, other people, other companies, not for money, only money or anything like that. Only money. We should do it for money, but not only money.
Only money, but no.
Or anything like that. Just, make sure that you're creating music just for the pure joy of creating music that you love. That is probably one of the reasons why you started. You love to sing, you love to make music. It brings people happiness, whatever it may be. And making music for fun will keep that association alive. If you're only doing it for jobs and for money and to keep up appearances or whatever it is going to suck the life out of you. Yes, when you graduate school, you have to make money, you have to have jobs. And, if you're trying to be a full-time musician, you are probably living gig to gig and you got to get that next gig and that's stressful. And yes. Those are all valid, true statements. But if you're not creating music for fun, you're just going to associate music and singing and the gig life with negativity. And that's not sustainable and it's not going to be fun either.
I think leaning into just making music for fun is why I love the rehearsal process so much. Mm-hmm. It's I love rehearsal. Mm-hmm. I love rehearsal. It's so much fun because you just get to sit there and play. There's not an audience. There's typically not judgment, but you have the freedom to play around and just sing with friends.
Yep.
And it's one of the most fun thing. But you should also start to limit or eliminate, honestly, people who just don't get quote unquote music or people who don't value your feelings of burnout or distress because they kind of don't care about you anyways. So bye. These people, it's the toxic people in your life. I know that I have had fake friendships since elementary school. People are people and they people really hard sometimes, but knowing that you can say thank you, you don't get my energy anymore though, is something that you have the power to do. Yes, sometimes they are someone that you're going to have to work with. That's fine. That doesn't mean that you need to spend your personal time with them too.
Yeah, it could be family members who don't understand your lifestyle choices or your job choices. It could be a colleague within...
Literally anyone who says, okay, but what's your real job?
Yeah,
they can
God, go. Yeah, cancel.
They can go. Bye.
Or and it even could be somebody in the industry. Somebody, yes, you may have to work with and yes, maintain a professional relationship with, but that doesn't mean you have to be friends with everybody that you work with. I mean, we are very, very close to, as musicians, as singers, we do get very close and have to be very close with a lot of the people that we work with, especially when we're working, on a show. Maybe you're with them a whole season in a chorus or, as a young artist or something like that. But that doesn't mean you have to be besties, right? You can say, hey, I'm going to be friendly with you in this professional setting. But that is the extent of our relationship. Another thing that I think Alyssa and I also love is finding inspirational stories that resonate with you by other artists. It may feel silly to pick up an autobiography of your favorite singer or just following them on Instagram, but seeing other people succeed in exactly what you want to succeed in makes it more real and more tangible. And you might also pick up some tips just by following them on Instagram. your favorite singer is succeeding, whether they're famous or they're just, having a full-time singing career. They might go on, they might post a story about, an audition they had, or inspiring information or tips and tricks. Or some of these people also have other jobs like that go along with their singing career. Maybe it's they're teaching, maybe they're a financial advisor for singers. These things, just by scrolling and watching their Instagram stories or just scrolling through Instagram, may actually help you, maybe trigger kind of an aha moment in your brain, and inspire you, or just give you some tips. I'm rambling.
I think two of my favorites that I've read in the most recent years are Kristen Chenoweth and Anna Kendrick's autobiographies. They're very different humans, but they're also very similar humans. They're also very similar in size, which I just realized. But they're physically very similar in size. But
That's funny.
They talk about how they struggled. They talk about being a person in the industry and how it sometimes really sucks. And for me, it made it feel like I wasn't alone, and that knowing that it sucks because it is such a vulnerable art form, it was nice. It was really nice to know.
And it makes that in which you want that career tangible, right? It makes it oh, well, they're human too. They struggle with having a family, or having a partner, or that's how they do that. I do the same thing. Okay, maybe it's not so far out of your reach. It makes it a little bit more real, right?
Yeah, I mean, Kristen Chenoweth is literally the reason I went to grad school for opera performance, because I went, well, my voice sounds similar to hers when she was my age. She did this. That worked out. Let's go for it. That was my entire premise for going to grad school. I got 80 grand worth of student debt for that. So, I mean, it's working, thank God, but Yezu. If you do feel super overwhelmed, though, take a break. You're not less than if you need to step away from your music for a little bit so that you can come back more dedicated and tuned in than ever. But some burnouts require a longer recovery period before you can come back with a full heart. I know for me, there was about a 2-year period where every single time I started singing, I got angry. And then coming back was hard. I was crying in my rehearsals and my practice sessions by myself, but I didn't want to sing angry. This is something that I am so passionate about, that taking the time away, I can now come back and know that I'm giving it my all.
Make sure that you add in some tangible things into your schedule as well. Make sure you're doing a few meditations, getting your headspace right at the beginning of the day or before you practice, kind of, calming down your nervous system. Hanging out with friends, maybe that's, every now and then, or maybe you have a scheduled time that you go do certain things with friends. Maybe that's a happy hour, or you want to
going to a show together.
Yeah, exactly. Or if go to a show, or, if you want to do a specific thing, hey, I've been looking at this really cool place in New York, and since I have a New York ID, I can go into there for free in this museum, schedule some time out with some friends. Or schedule out some time to listen to and learn new music. This is beneficial just for your creative, fun, I love music brain, but also for your career. If you are looking into learning new music, definitely check out our Learn Your Music the Right Way workbook. It's in our Etsy shop, which is linked below. It is a really, really good resource. It's a 24-page workbook with information on how to learn your music in 30, 60, or 90 days. So kind of depending on how quickly you got to jam-pack that information, evaluating your strengths and your weaknesses, character evaluation, text and translation worksheets. Those are just a few things that are in this workbook. So definitely check it out.
Other things that you can do are to schedule out your practice sessions. For me right now, something I'm trying to do is to actually just practice.
Which is hard sometimes.
I'm literally, I'm having such a hard time with it. Oh my God. I talk to my students about this all the time, where I'm like, cool, 20 minutes, 3 days a week. That's it. That's all you got to do. And set a timer, break it down. So I took a voice lesson recently for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. It was lovely. And so how she broke it down was do your warm up that leads into what you want your focus to be, and then sing for fun. So for me right now, it's a 7 or 8 minute warm up. And let's say I'm working on, oh God, what am I working on? What am I working on? The Girl in 14G. Let's talk Kristen Chenoweth. So I'm working on the Girl in 14G, which means I need to have low, high, mid, belt, and legit. Cool, that's a lot to warm up.
Yeah.
So working on range and grounding with just a little bit of a stretch in my warm up. So my warm up is going to be about 7 to 8 minutes long. So I'll do that. I'll warm up my belt just a smidge, but keep it in the same placement, making sure that that's tracking. And then I will practice for like 10 minutes on a specific section. So let's say I'm working on the Queen of the Night section in there because thank God it's like a full like fourth lower, which is God bless. But I can't sing an F and
Girl,
belt a
talking,
D at the end.
No,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. I can't do any of that. So
but then practicing like that specific part, going back and forth, because that's the part that gives me grief, is going back and forth from that specific section into the belt and finding my goddamn breath under me. And then taking my last like 4 minutes to just sing the whole song and have fun with it. Like, yeah, focusing into the thing that I practiced.
Right.
But like having these smaller practice sessions so that it's less overwhelming.
Yeah. And bringing it back to ending it on some fun, right? Bringing it back to why we started, right? So, I mean, we talked about meditations. We talked about bringing it back to where you started, maybe putting little sticky notes around. Maybe also add in a few mantras or, a few like I can statements. Like, I can do this. I can do hard things. I am really good at singing or really good at what I do or really good at hitting high notes, maybe putting that in your binder as well. To just, again, bringing it back to tangible things, bringing it back to things you can control. When you meditate, you can control, your nervous system to a degree. And just, keeping those reminders somewhere where you can see them at all times.
Start just having some jam sessions with friends. It's so much fun. It takes all of the pressure off because it's cool. Let's go to someone's house who has a piano because they know how to play. I do not. And just jam. I think, oh gosh, one of the fun things that we were trying to do in college, but we never really got around to it, was we were trying to just do a read of Les Mis.
That's cool.
Like, it was just a bunch of us who wanted to get together and do a reading of Les Mis. We got the director cut and everything for the score, and we were just going to be like, cool, who's rating what?
Right.
And we were all just going to show it. Like, it never happened because undergrad was a nightmare, and also, like, my graduating class was 4.
Wait, I'm sorry. 4?
There were 4 vocal majors.
4?
But there was a bunch of, like,
4?
ed majors as well.
No, gotcha.
But having these times to literally just play around or even listen to new music it helps you to cultivate a social support system. And maybe you just sit around and listen to the new Frankenstein opera. Who's to say? Who's to say?
Right? There you go. Also, make sure that you find a mentor and or an accountability buddy. In school, you have a bunch of colleagues, you have classmates, you have your teacher, you have coaches, you have people who are helping you with this and people are helping you with that. And then you go and you graduate and you're in the real world and you have none of those things, right? Nobody is holding you accountable except yourself. You don't have to schedule voice lessons. Like, you don't have to go to them. You don't have to go to
went
coaching,
4 years.
Right? Exactly. Like, those are things that like you don't have to do. Nobody's holding you accountable and you just like don't have to do them anymore. But we do think it's very important that you find somebody who does, because you won't
don't have to, but you probably should every now and again.
Exactly. So you kind of have to go out and kind of do that yourself. So because if you're like me, you just can keep putting it off, and then it's 3 weeks before the gig that you're signed up for, and now you're cramming and you're stressed, and that's not good for anybody or anything. So find accountability buddy. Maybe that's your coach. You know, it doesn't have to be a friend or a colleague. Maybe that's just like your vocal coach. Maybe that is your voice teacher if you still want to take voice lessons or something like that. Or maybe that's just like your friend. You know what I mean? Maybe it can be like your friend who lives in New York and you live in Phoenix, and they're like, hey, did you do that thing today? And you're like, ah, shit, I'm about to go do it. Thanks, love you. Or maybe it's your roommate who also is a musician and kind of understands that world. So accountability buddy to keep you on track is really, really important. And then a mentor, like somebody that you look up to, somebody that maybe has achieved the thing or some things that you would also like to achieve. That person, I'm putting that out there, can be younger than you. They can be older than you. They can be your same age. You know, it doesn't have to be somebody who's been in the biz for 20, 30, 45 years and, you know, whatever. It's just somebody who you look up to, who you appreciate and respect their advice, and somebody who also has just achieved a few things that you have. I'm sorry, a few things that you would like to also achieve.
Start finding other creative outlets like painting, photography, dancing, flower arrangements, literally anything else, to find another way to keep yourself creatively engaged that your job doesn't depend on. Oh gosh, what is mine right now? Mine right now is cooking and baking.
Oh, I love that.
I love baking.
I like to bake
It makes me feel
too.
really creative, and I get to like play in the kitchen, but literally has nothing to do with my career choice at all, other than, cool, if I eat this milk product, I'm gonna be phlegmy. But the end.
But it doesn't, you know, it's fine if you do it at the right time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Find other ways to be creative.
And just a reminder that these are a lot of things that we're throwing at you. Yes, this is a 24/7 job. You know, it's not like a 9-to-5 type of job. It's kind of like an all the time, keep going, keep doing more and more type of job.
Permeates your existence.
Exactly. But that being said, keep yourself to a schedule. You know, just do one thing a day. That is enough. You know, as long as you're consistent, and whatever that consistency may be, maybe it is only once a week because your goals aren't to be a full-time singer. You know, whatever that may be, just one thing a day is enough. Thank you so much for listening. Want to hear more from us? Sign up for our newsletter to gain access to our freebies and other updates.
Ellen and I want to make sure that we can keep getting new information out to our singing community, but to do that, we need your help. If you like what you're hearing, make sure that you subscribe wherever you listen, and then share this episode with a friend. This helps us make sure that you never miss an episode, and it helps us reach new followers.
Looking for the resources we mentioned today? Check out our show notes to see everything we mentioned in this episode.
And if you want to buy us a coffee to enjoy while we're creating these episodes, you can drop us a tip wherever you follow us.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.